Like hell, I'm going to let a bunch of domestic terrorists interrupt our government, disrupt our proceedings, and keep us from doing our constitutional duty. Peter Meyer here.
And a long night for lawmakers like Congressman Peter Meyer. He posted that video to Twitter last night, vowing to finish the certification process. And of course they did. Just hours prior, he and Congressman Bill Huizenga joined Fox 17 live on the phone from an undisclosed location as riots were unfolding. And they spoke with Fox 17 again today, reflecting on what will no doubt become a part of American history.
This is not who we are. We are way better than this, and America needs to be better on all sides.
Congressman Bill Huizenga admittedly exhausted Thursday morning after protesters turned violent and breached the Capitol Wednesday with lawmakers inside.
We could hear the noises going on outside, not sure what was happening. Suddenly you could smell a little bit of the tear gas. Capitol Hill security detail was literally holding back the door. They took their batons out. They had not drawn their weapons at that point, but then it started to escalate very, very quickly.
Everybody stay down! Get down!
The congressman jumped to help an officer move a bench, attempting to barricade an entrance.
About halfway there, suddenly the Capitol Hill police officer started screaming, shots fired, get down. Obviously, I dropped the bench. I was down. The police officer that I was with said, we got to get this over there. I picked it back up again, at which point another Capitol police officer was screaming at me, sir, get down on the ground. You've got to get out of here. Let us do our job. And they did.
Freshman Congressman Peter Meyer was seated in the House gallery above the floor as protesters inched closer to breaching the chambers.
When they lost control of the Capitol, that's when Capitol Police and other law enforcement officials escorted us from the gallery. And, it was in some ways orderly, but there was a lot of chaos. We went down kind of through the tunnels. We went to a couple of different areas. We were going around. They was trying to figure out, what parts of the Capitol are secure.
They eventually found a secure location where Representative Meyer says about 2/3 of Congress hunkered down. Once the rioters were removed, lawmakers were determined to resume their work.
Like hell, I'm going to let a bunch of domestic terrorists interrupt our government, disrupt our proceedings, and keep us from doing our constitutional duty.
We didn't do anything but go back and do the job that was started. And the message that sets, that we won't be intimidated, that we won't be prevented from upholding our constitutional duty.
Around 3:30 in the morning, the election was certified.
Still need to take a shower. Slept in my office last night, but all's well. Just glad that, my colleagues are safe and that the situation's back under control.
Both representatives now calling on those responsible to be held accountable, dismissing claims that there were outsiders who infiltrated the group.
These reports of somehow this was Antifa-led and these were all Antifa people. It is not the case. It is simply not the case.
I see people trying to minimize to both sides, to make excuses for what happened, to claim baselessly that, oh no, this was Antifa, this was BLM, or some, kind of spurious allegations. I mean, the folks who are responsible need to own up to this.
Both committed to not letting what happened Wednesday distort their duties moving forward.
What happened yesterday does not erase our constitutional duty or the voting problems that happened in places like Pennsylvania and Arizona and even in Michigan. And I still have those same concerns. Those have to be addressed.
There were a lot of folks that I didn't know, that I got to know throughout that process, that I gained a tremendous amount of respect for. And then there were plenty of folks I lost a lot of respect for too. So I think this is going to be a moment we have to take stock, but we also have to realize that we have a job to do in Washington.
Michael Martin, Fox 17 News.
And of course, Meyer in office for just a couple of days as this all happened. Back here at home, a man called in a bomb threat this morning, shutting down the Michigan Capitol building in Lansing for about 2 hours. State police swept the building and gave the all clear for employees to return around 9 in the morning. Lawmakers won't convene until next week, but some legislative leaders do have offices inside the State House. The building has been closed to the public because of the pandemic.